Hello everyone, welcome to Ion Entertainment. I'm DonLeeClip, and today our special guest is Don Lee. He's a special guest for many reasons, and one of them is that he's my father. So interviewing him today will be a guest host, Kevin McDonald.
Hello and welcome to Ion Entertainment. My name is Kevin McDonald and I'm your host. And in studio with me today is Mr. Don Lee.
The Japanese that attacked China in 1937, and we're living in southern China in a place called Guangdong, which is about 70 miles north of Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. The Japanese have just have captured the capital city there called Canton, and they're moving inland. So at that point, my father decided that he had to take me out of China in order to have free access. So we left the village by train. It took 8 hours, and during the trip, I was very frightened because there were a lot of Chinese soldiers looking for saboteurs and spies, and so we were facing a lot of checkpoints, and it was for an 8-year-old boy. That was a moment I'll never forget. First of all, I was very fortunate. I did not have to drive my kids. I mean, they were married a lady who was very bright, and she came from good genes. Mm-hmm. And so I would say that probably the family followed her more than followed me in terms of innate ability. And she was also extremely dedicated mother. I mean, she was a nurse. Her name was Fumi, and she worked as a nurse, and when the kids were started growing up, I didn't really want her to work because I was making enough money at that time. So she was a full-time mother, and she dedicated her life to the kids. So I have to actually give her credit for raising 5 talented kids. Yeah, I think I have 11 patents. I'm not sure the exact count. But really patents don't really doesn't mean much for me as far as material wealth. I mean, these patents were obtained while I was working for companies.
Right. So
they were assigned to companies, so it's part of my job,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing. Yeah, I was very fortunate in that I was in the early stages of memory business. I started the magnetic cores. Okay, when that became obsolete, I actually started into the floppy disk business, and then a hard disk, and then I went to semiconductors. So this is my progression. Well, they say when I was in the service, I taught, and that set the stage for me wanting to become a teacher. Actually, during my entire engineering career, I was more of a teacher than a manager when I was leading groups. So I decided that maybe I should go back to university and actually learn how to be a teacher. So I went to Claremont Graduate University and got my credential and my MA. And then I taught at a high school in Covina, California, South Hills High School. I taught math and science.
I think that is an incredible thing.
Yeah, I look back, and I guess I always kept my eyes on the prize. I mean, I know what I wanted, and you don't deviate. So let me just try and set that record straight on Grandpa, who's my dad.
Okay.
Okay, again, this is set in the late 1800s and early 1900s.
Okay.
My grandfather left China, I guess in around 1870s, to work on a railroad. from Nevada to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, I mean, I don't know what for sure, because there's no record of it other than probably immigration records. My dad was born in Portland, Oregon,
Okay.
1880. They think, and that this is probably backed up by immigration records, that he was probably the son of a Indian lady.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a Native American.
I don't know for sure. I don't have any.
Hey, they'll take what they can get as far as the facts, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so that I think that we're part American Indian. I'm not. I don't brag about it because I don't know.
Right.
But this is probably the most likely event. And then my grandfather brought my father back to China when he went back to China and raised my dad. My dad came back to America when he was 18 years old. Anyhow, my dad probably came across, made the trip back across maybe 10 times. Okay. He he married again. Let's see, trying to think, probably in 1927 when he went back to China during one of his trips. Because the custom back in China at that time was that if you can afford it, you should marry again and have two wives. And it's a funny situation. Even the first wives generally encourage that because they treat the second wife as a slave, maid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
So if you think about it, it's probably still, in some countries it's still.
Was that the position your mom was in?
Yeah. Not a maid, but she certainly was subservient, and she did whatever was told. I mean, if she had lived in the same house, she would be a maid, okay? But she had her own house.
Right.
So again, in our family, the first wife had all the rights and privileges. Offsprings from the first wife, okay, had priority over the second, etc. So I was kind of the again, even in my family, I was second-class citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've certainly done a lot to earn your right to be more than that.
Yeah, I know.
So.
But I think back. I was driven to achieve success by education and by hard work. And the thing that I regret looking back is I put too much effort into that and not enough into my personal affairs.
Right.
Okay, with my family and with my wife, etc. I those took a back seat, and that was a mistake. Perhaps I was too driven.
Right.
So.
I think that maybe that's a message that they'll appreciate for sure.
It's just that I didn't take time to smell the roses and to realize what I had and what I've achieved. And if I do it over again, things probably would have been different. But here I am,
Well, you do have a great grandchild coming, as I understand it.
Yeah. Marissa's having a baby, and I'm going to be a great grandfather. So.
Right on. Well, I mean, that to me, you are 80 years old, so or 80. You if you're anything like my family, you still have time. So.